What we have here, folks, is a failure to communicate. Well, I'm trying to communicate with everybody out there in social media because Merrick Bank doesn't seem to know how to communicate the right way. They like to make those robocalls, and I don't like it. So they just upset me too much over it. So if they can hide behind the telephone and a robot, I can hide behind this disguise I'm wearing of the Invisible Man. Okay, so this is the third part of this Invisible Man series that I started, and it's a sequel, as you might call it. I'm going to cover some of the same things. Only thing, I'm going to allude to different things. So no two videos are going to be exactly alike because it's not scripted. Okay, so in case you haven't, viewed one of these videos in the last month or so, I'm going to go over everything again. The reason why I'm doing this, because if Merrick Bank can harass me for a bill that I don't owe, well, I can badmouth them on social media. So that's what this is all about. Okay, I think I'm going to go back how it all started. In 2018, me and Marie were, spending a nice day at home, quiet and all. And the mail came, so I said, "Here, Marie, here's a letter for you." And she says, "Okay, Frankie." And I was going through the mail. She opened it up, and, her lack of interest was an all-time low at this point. Nothing seemed to interest her. Okay, she opened it up, she looked at it, took a while for her to realize what it was, and she said to me, Frankie. I said, "What is it, Marie?" "Oh, I got a pre-approved for $600 from Merrick Bank." She felt so good that she's being rewarded for good credit. She's being acknowledged. She doesn't realize that offer is being sent to so many people, Okay, so I went over it, and she said, "I don't understand it exactly." I said, "Okay, let me look it over. Okay, you got $600. That's pre-approved. And if we make 7 on-time payments, you'll get another $600. Oh, $600 more? And then she tells me something that's really profound. Considering her mental condition. She says, "Frankie, does that mean every time we make 7 payments, we get another $600? I said, "No, Marie, it only means for this one offer. I'm not saying they might do something like that later on. So you keep paying them. That'll keep you paying, remember? And you won't be late. Plus, you'll owe them more money, and you'll be paying more." So I don't think they would do something quite that drastic, but this offer wasn't bad. So I said, "Okay, Marie." She says, "I want it, Frankie, I want it." So I said, "Okay. We could do it by phone or by computer." She said, "Not an application to mail in?" I said, "No, they're not doing that." So she said, "I don't want to do it over the phone because, I might say something wrong, Okay, we'll do it by computer." And Marie was never much for the computer, so she said, "Okay." I set it up. I got Merrick Bank up on the screen and all. So I said, "You want to type it in?" She said, "Oh, I know how to type." So she typed on the keyboard. I set it all up, and I set the cursor for everything that she could type in. So I made sure it was, with 2 people doing it, so it doesn't get messed up. She said, "Check the information and make sure I don't put it wrong." I said, "No, so far so good." So it come down to authorized user. And she right away said, "Oh, we'll put you on, because we share everything. So I want to make sure that you're on there." I said, "I know, because I'm the one handling all this, and I could also be shopping for you, too." So we got down to it, and I noticed she had to check something there. She said, "What's all that say?" It was a disclosure. So I said, "It says that you have to allow them to call you on the cell phone or text message you, but they're using an auto dialer. You have to, permit them to do it, or you won't get the account." And then she says, "Well, I don't care if they call me or not, but you mean if I don't check that, I won't get the account?" I said, "Well, that's what it says. Because I guess they want to be able to call you in case they need to call you. And they use an auto dialer, so they want to make sure that the law says they're not supposed to do it, but if you give permission, they're allowed to." So she understood it. She didn't care. She wanted the account. So she hit submit, so it went in. And then I got an email. I checked. I said, "Look, Marie, it went in. It says you've been approved for $600 with a double the credit line, and then after 7 payments you'll get another $600. And you should receive your cards within 7 to 10 business days." Well, I was happy for that, and she was waiting every day. She couldn't wait. So for about a week or so, we got the cards. And she got hers and mine, and she said, "Oh, they're beautiful," because she picked a design. I think it had an eagle on there. It was beautiful design, I said, "Okay, Marie, be careful when you're using that over the phone." Because that's what she wanted it for. She had other cards, but their balances were all used up, really. There wasn't much credit. This way it gave her an opportunity. It made her happy. I was glad to see she was happy and all. So she ordered some things. And I told her, be careful. Don't give the personal information over the phone. Just give the credit card number, expiration date, and a security card on the back. That's all you need to know. So she did that. And I kept paying, and I was transferring other cards by making payments, So that went on for a while. Everything was all right. We started to get a little sicker. And, after we got to double the credit line, she was very happy with it. I said, "Look, see, we got more credit now, Marie." "Oh, yeah, thank you." She was still into that card. She's got that burned in her brain, that Merrick Bank. So I said, "Okay, Marie, that's good." So she ordered, and I kept paying the bills. And I noticed on the statement, all these catalog cards that we had that I was paying, $25 a month, $30, whatever. I noticed they were on the bill, but there's $500. $5 for each one. They were charging a cash advance fee because they didn't have balance transfers for that account. So I was really transferring the balance, and they probably knew it, so they charged $5. There's this add-on charges, for each one of those. That means if I'm paying 5 cards, it's costing me $25 more a month just because they charged that cash advance fee. I didn't really get cash. But in a sense, to them, the way they think, because I wasn't using cash to pay those accounts, I was using the credit to pay those accounts. So that's what that was. That's only one of the things. I'm not going to go on that too much right now. So everything was all right. Marie started getting sicker. That was a problem. She couldn't get around too good, and so finally I didn't, want to take any chances at home with her. So I called the 911. They took her to the hospital. And they gave her every test that you could think of. Well, the doctors determined that she needed to go to a nursing home because they diagnosed her with, I guess, it's dementia and Alzheimer's. Plus, she had respiratory distress and some other medical conditions. So all this, at least this was, her diagnosis seemed to be good. The right medications and all, in the nursing home for long-term care to come back to the community. So I picked one that was near the house, not, that I could get to it, So I kept going there for months. Her condition did improve a lot. And believe it or not, when I went there, she asked me about the Merrick Bank. She says, "Frankie, how are we doing with Merrick Bank?" I said, "Fine, everything's good. I'm paying them on time. We still have credit." And she says, "Okay, be careful with my card. I don't want to lose it." I said, "No, don't worry, I have it." And she used to tell me what she wanted me to bring her at the nursing home using that card. So I did. And then all of a sudden, she took a turn for the worst. And that was it. She passes away. And then I start having problems because now my income, we combined it all the years. Now it was cut in half. So I had so many accounts. We must have had 20 accounts between the catalog credit and then the MasterCard Visas and all that we had. So I just couldn't pay. You know what happens? The notices come in, then the calls. I was getting calls from all these different banks. I was writing it all down. I had it put in one phone log, not separately. So I started sending cease and desist letters. Some of them stopped, some of them didn't. because the creditor doesn't have to abide by it. That's mostly for the debt collector, because they're the third party. So basically, that's what happened. Then I said, well, let me see if I can find a lawyer. So I was looking up, one of the banks, and this lawyer's name popped up. So I said, well, let me check with him. And he called me right back. I was surprised. He said, yeah, I can help you with that bank. I guess because that's the bank that he knows that he has success with. So he took care of that and all the accounts. That he stopped all the calls. See, one of them that I sent a letter to, they stopped calling, but they started again. But he stopped it right away. So that was it for a while. The only one that was still paying, you guessed it, Merrick Bank. So I kept paying them, and as much as I could, because it was like a memory of Marie, She liked that account so much that I just had to keep paying it, And I got to a point, I said, well, I can't go much further with this. Months is passing, so I stopped paying. And all of a sudden, in November 2019, the call started. And it comes up Merrick Bank on the caller ID for the landline. Of course, the cell phone, it doesn't. Remember, she gave permission, remember? On the application that they could call. I guess they know the difference from the cell phone and the landline, because both of my numbers start with 267. But I guess they know the difference. So I start getting these calls. So I waited a couple of weeks. I think I had 19 calls on the cell phone, and I think it was 43 on the landline. That's an awful lot of calls. I just noticed recently, I was looking back over that. One day I got 7 calls in one day. I was surprised. I didn't realize at the time because there's 2 numbers. 7 calls in one day, and they used the same number. Merrick Bank used the same number that day. They used a different number every day. They had like 6 phone numbers, and that day they used the same number for both lines. So I guess that's the way it's set up. Okay, so that went on for a little. I will let it go for a couple of weeks. I want to see what's going to happen. So since I had the lawyer, I contacted him. And Merrick Bank is one of the banks that he deals with the most, that he's familiar with. So, okay, I told him everything. He sent me the contract, between us, and I typed all those calls, on an email. So he received that and all, and then the call stopped. First, the landline calls. No, it wasn't the landline. It was the cell phone stopped first, like 2 days before the landline. So I guess they wanted to get less calls on the cell phone because they know that they're not supposed to be doing that. Using that auto dollar and all, even though the permission was given. Because when Marie gave the permission, when she said she didn't care about it, they did something wrong there. I think so. I might be wrong. That when they sent that offer out, they weren't supposed to put that on the offer. That was supposed to be separate, completely separate. Something separate, another form or something saying that you give permission. And you initial it or sign it or whatever it is, They didn't do that. Or the provider, if they have a provider doing that service, they're supposed to ask for permission. So if this wasn't done, they're in violation. So, okay, I contacted the lawyer. The calls did stop. So it was quiet for about a month and a half. And he's working on the case. There's litigation, with Merrick Bank and me. Even though the account is in Marie's name, she's the card holder. I'm an authorized user, but the fact that I'm on the account. So he put this litigation in my name. So I guess after about a month and a half, this bank, with their legal department, and I guess the brainiacs there come up with, well, since the call stopped and he's got litigation, let's retaliate against him, huh? Let's retaliate against Frank Leeper, huh? Since he's an authorized user, huh? And I had the litigation in, so they figure, well, but they didn't call me on the cell phone. Why is that? They're admitting right there that they didn't have permission from me if I'm the one they're calling now. Because I think when they called in November, they thought it was Marie, at that point. They didn't know she was passed away. Okay, so they're calling me now in January, starting the very beginning of 2020. And the call started, but it was only on the landline, not the cell phone, like I said before. So I waited a while, I waited a couple of weeks again. I wanted to see if they were going to call on the cell, or how they're going to call. So it started out slow, a couple calls at first. Then it was 4 calls a day. And every day was a different phone number they used. So that's part of this, I guess, setup. That phone number is used to maybe make a different sequence, I don't know. But they got that number in there for a reason, because they have to put a number on the caller ID for the landline, their name and number. Why didn't you just have one number? They already put their name. No. They got to do it mysterious, huh? Make it mysterious by using a different number every day. I figured out that probably because whatever number you would dial, if it's a different number every day, that number is going to go to a different customer care representative. That way they can distribute the calls coming in. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but the calls kept coming. I waited a couple of weeks. I contacted the lawyer, and I told him, he said, Frank, I'll reach out to them because, there's litigation in already, and this is something that's associated with the account, Well, the calls still kept coming. So I wonder, there must be something wrong. And then I contacted the lawyer again. He said, Frank, we'll make them stop, okay? So he didn't want me to keep, bothering him over it, because he didn't want me to be worried either about it. So I kept the phone log and everything. Then finally, the call stopped again for the second time. But I got over 80 calls in January. Now, we're in the beginning of February. So now that stopped now. What's going to happen next, I don't know. I'm thinking in about another month and a half I'm going to get calls again. I hope they call me on the cell phone, because that's the one that they could get in trouble for, the cell phone. Well, I think it's up to $500 to $1,500 for every call. So I don't think they want to do that again, because that's the litigation that's in right now for that violation. So I got that lawyer, and I'm glad I got him. He helped me a lot, and he's still helping me right now. So if you need a lawyer that deals with these kind of situations, with these harassing phone calls, whether it's Merrick Bank or any bank, I'll give you his name. He's a consumer advocate attorney. His name is Paul Mankin, Mankin. And his phone number is toll free, and the number is 800-219-3577. I'll repeat it in case you didn't get it down. It's 800-219-3577. So it's a free consultation, and there's no obligation or nothing. He'll talk to you. You call the number. It might be an answering machine. He has a secretary, or he might answer it, or he'll call you back one way or another. So he'll let you know if he can take the case. And if it's Merrick Bank, he's definitely going to take it. There's other banks that he deals with, that he knows that he can win. But remember, you're not being charged for legal fees. You're not being charged nothing, no matter what happens. If he doesn't, if there's no case, if he can't litigate against the company, he doesn't get anything for his work, and you still don't have to pay. But if he gets the case and he wins it, however the settlement is, he'll check with you first on the settlement. Whatever the settlement is, he gets paid for his legal fees, and the court costs they have to pay. You don't have to pay anything. Now, one case I had with them, I had 3 accounts with the same bank, and I had it for about 8 years. And each one was about $1,000 because they kept increasing it because I kept paying. So he contacted this bank, and they were calling me on the cell phone. So he made the deal. He told me about it. I said, okay. He said, they're paying my legal fee, and they're paying the court costs, and no more calls, and they're marking your 3 bills paid, plus I got money. Not a lot, but something. So that wasn't a bad deal at all. That was a good settlement. I wish this Merrick Bank could make a settlement, something like that, so I could be done with them and have closure, you know? Because, you know, if Marie passes away, that account is really uncollectible. The only thing is, you know, if there's a husband involved, or family, or a estate, that they might try to collect it. But otherwise, they really can't do anything. And right now, since she's been passed away a few months, now I'm an authorized user, so they're trying to go after me for it. What do they think? I don't know what's going on? I'm not responsible for that account. That's in her name, and her information, and she's the card holder. I'm not a joint card holder, I'm not a co-signer, and we're not legally married, and we don't have an estate. So what are they calling for? What are they calling for? Trying to collect money from somebody under false pretenses? That's what they're doing. So that's why you have to have a lawyer, because he knows all the rules, the laws and everything, regulations, and he knows how to go after them for it. So you have somebody working for you. I'm not fighting Merrick Bank by myself, you know. So that's why I'm letting you know all this information, you know. If they're trying to collect from me a debt that's really a zombie debt, it becomes a zombie debt that once a person dies, and now they're trying to bring life back into it by trying to collect it from somebody else, because I'm considered somebody else. Because even though me and Marie lived together for over 40 years as man and wife, but we're not legally married. And we're in Pennsylvania, and common law doesn't exist now either. So I don't know what they think. They're not that smart then. That's what I call psychological warfare. They keep on calling like that, you know. And that's supposed to beat you down and say, well, I better work out something with these people, because to try to stop those calls. It's not a good idea. If you can't pay, don't let something else go just to try to pay them to stop the calls. You don't have to do that. The best thing you can do is say, get a lawyer. There's plenty of them out there, but they don't charge. So that's how they get business. Consumer advocate, you know, that's the best lawyer. I know the one I have. Boy, I don't know what I would have did without him. He's helped me so much. He's still helping me. This Merrick Bank, they think that they got power over you because you owe them money. Well, you actually don't have to put up with it. Again, you know, I repeat this a lot. You need to keep a phone log. Very important. So you contact an attorney, you know, given that information, you should have the date, the time, the day, the number they're using, so he can use that when he puts the litigation in. Because they're not going to dispute it, because when he gives them that information and it matches their information, they know that he has it. And plus, it can be checked with the phone company anyway. That's important to keep that information so that, you know, he can use it. Again, it's important that you make sure that you don't make any deals. You have the lawyer, let him make the deals. If you don't have a lawyer, you still shouldn't make any deals with these people. Because once you stop paying, then to start up again, you know, you start the clock running, because there is a statute of limitations on your debts. In Pennsylvania, I know it's 4 years. That doesn't mean when you open the account. That means after the last payment. So that means I haven't paid now since November on that account. So in 4 years, less than 4 years, it'll be legally forgiven, but it doesn't matter on this account. Because it's in Marie's name and she's deceased. So it's uncollectible, so it's really not on my credit. So, like I said, I'm trying to give you all these things to keep in mind, because it's important, you know. You may be going through problems like I have, you know, or different ones, and if you just can't pay, you can't pay. These banks like Merrick Bank, they think that, like I said, that they have some power over you. I keep saying that, and they're not above the law. So, you know, then they're taking the laws that there exist, and they're supposed to be abiding by it, and they're not. They are circumventing the system, and they get away with it. The only thing, because the Consumer Protection Bureau, they don't intervene, really. They might agree with the lawyer, but you need an attorney to go after them. Now, if they keep getting enough complaints, they might take it to, you know, they might fine them or something for it, or give them a warning about doing that. But they keep doing it. They think that the system they have in place is so good, you know. I guess they have a track record, and it shows that they do collect a lot of money for doing that. But and most of the time, they probably shouldn't have collected it. They should have paid money, but because the consumer doesn't know that, so I guess they're surprised, you know, when a consumer, you know, gets a lawyer or something and goes after them. That's why they usually settle it, because they don't want to get it to go further, you know, and plus not good for the advertisement for the bank. So that's how they get away with it. But now with me doing this, bad-mouthing them on social media, maybe more people will come forward, not necessarily with Merrick Bank, but other banks. So I'm pretty sure that people have been looking at my videos. I'm pretty sure that there's somebody out there that has Merrick Bank. And if you do, and you're late, you're going to be getting those calls. Because they have it set up like that, and they think that that's foolproof. Well, it's not, you know. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect world. They're dealing with human beings. They're not dealing with robots. So I think they better come to the realization that they might have to do something different. Because this ranting I'm doing on social media is not going to help them. If they start getting an awful lot of cases all of a sudden, and they realize now they're starting to pay out a lot of money, they might have to think they better do something different. I think it'd be better that they wouldn't call on the cell phone with the auto dollar. Because everybody has a cell phone. Landline, maybe not nowadays. So if you put a number down and they want to contact you with the auto dollar, you know, they're trying to get permission, you know, so that they can do it. So the fact that they're asking for permission tells you that they're not supposed to be doing that. So they still want to do it. Well, I think they're going to have to stop it eventually. Because there are different laws for the landline. The landline, they're abiding by the law. Because auto dollar on the landline is different. Because their name comes up on the caller ID, Merrick Bank, and one of their phone numbers. And the phone number goes to the call center. So they're all right that way. But harassing phone calls is different. Landline or cell phone, they keep calling to annoy you. Well, that's also another violation of the Federal Debt Collection Practices Act. That's for debt collectors and creditors, both. So if they want to call me 4 times a day, and plus it's a bill that's not in my name either, and they keep harassing me like that, it's harassment because I can prove that it's annoying, because I wouldn't be doing all this now if I wasn't annoyed. So let them deny it, you know. It's up to them to prove it. The burden of proof is on Merrick Bank, not me. I have a lawyer, and there's the laws, and I have that phone log for all the calls they've been making. That's how I know how many, you know, and all that I'm doing that every day, writing all that down. Well, I did it for a reason, because I know that's what's important. Because if you're getting all these calls and you're just not paying attention to it, you know they're bothering you, but you didn't write it down. You can still tell the lawyer. He can look into it. But if you have it all already done, you know, written down like that, you know, in a nice format, because I noticed with this bank, it's like 5 different numbers they use. No, I think it's 6 different numbers. But there's 7 days, right? Well, what they do, on Saturday, say I'm getting 4 calls on the number they used. Sunday they call me, they use the same number. So they got Saturday and Sunday with the same number. Because they know they're not making as many calls on Sunday as they do the rest of the week. It's another one of the tactics. And what do? Say they don't call me on Sunday at all in January, right? Okay, but they call me on Saturday 4 times. Then Monday they don't call all day. Sunday they didn't call. Monday all day, no calls. Until what? You guessed it. 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon it starts. I said, there it is. Now I'm going to at least get 3 more calls, and I do. I shouldn't be able to predict that like that. And the only reason I'm able to, because I got a lot of experience, and by writing everything down, I'm able to tell, about when they're going to call. I don't think I've got, and maybe one time I might have got a call exactly the same time, but usually I don't. It's supposed to be random. I think it is random, but I think it's also programmed, It's both. So that's why I wanted to go over all this stuff, to show you that by doing that, what you can come up with, by seeing the pattern. So all those numbers that they use, they all go to the call center. I checked. And when what do you think happens? Another robot answers the phone as soon as you call. And it says, this call is being recorded for quality assurance, and the next representative will be with you shortly. And then finally you talk to a live agent. So finally I decided, with all this going on, I decided to call to see, how they're going to handle it, right? So I called. I got the recording that says it's going to be recorded for quality assurance. So when the representative got on the phone, I told her, I'm recording this for quality assurance. First she said she didn't agree. Then she goes right ahead and asked me for the account number. So I gave her the information. She says, who are you? And I told her my name and all. She checked it out. I gave the last 4 digits of the cardholder's Social Security number. Anybody could have done that. I don't know. Even if I wasn't on the account, if you knew that information. So I talked to her and I said, look, I'm getting all these calls, and Marie, the cardholder, has passed away a few months ago. Oh, we don't know that. We didn't know that, or something. Okay, regardless, I'm still getting all the calls, and I'm an authorized user of the account. So I told her all about it, and she didn't say anything. I told her, you didn't give any condolences. You didn't say you're sorry for my loss. The only thing I guess you're sorry for is for Merrick Bank's loss. They care about the money, but they don't care about a person's life, loss of life. She says, oh, they don't care about the money. Look at that. She's a representative of the company. You think they want her saying that? That they don't care about the money? She didn't know what to say. She had put me on hold once. I guess she had to go talk to a supervisor. And when she came back playing that funny music they play, and she comes back and says, well, we're going to need a copy of the death certificate. I said, well, I have a copy. I have more than one. I'm not sending it because I'm too upset, first of all. Secondly, I want to check with my attorney because I have a case pending with Merrick Bank. He says, oh, I don't know about that or whatever. Is anything else for today? I said, no, that's it. Goodbye. She hung up. That was it. But I have that recorded. It's on one of these videos that I make. You can see it. So if you look up on YouTube, harassing calls to Merrick Bank, something like that, on the search box, it'll come up and it'll say on the video, one of them is going to say about a call was made on the date and all to a representative, something like that in the, in the title of it. So I have that also. Yeah, I had to do it because it was getting too much, because I know what they're doing, and it was annoying me. But because I'm doing this on social media, it wasn't annoying me as bad. Because I said the more calls, the better. It makes it look worse for them, and better for me. So that's what I'm trying to do, get it to as many people out there as I can. I want you to know the situation that I'm in, that a lot of people are probably in. I can't see what amount of people on social media, that somebody out there has got to be having a problem with Merrick Bank. If not Merrick Bank, some other bank with those calls. And somebody's going to need help. Like I said, you need to contact an attorney. Now, I've been endorsing this Paul Mankin because he's helped me so much, I'm only too glad to do that as appreciation for all the help and good work that he's done so far, So again, I want to give you his name. For a free consultation, you can call Paul Mankin at 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. And he's got a secretary there. He's got the recording. Plus, he might answer. And if not, he's going to call you back to go over the case with you. Or have one of his lawyers there in the office do it. So, you have nothing to lose. You may as well do it if you're having a problem. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Get this information out there. Help as many people as I can, you know. I'm getting satisfaction out of it, that's all. Like I said, if they want to call me like they do and harass me, and you know what really has got me ticked off is that I got the lawyer and all, and they stopped the calls. Okay, you know. Then it's a case pending, and they go right ahead and start calling me again a month and a half later. That's what really got me mad. And then for another whole month of calls, I should get paid for all them calls. Okay, there's one case in litigation. He may do another one or maybe put it on the same one. I don't know. That's up to him. I rely on his expertise in all of these matters. I got him to do it, and that's it. He'll notify me. It might take months for some kind of settlement. The only thing I care about is that they stop those harassing phone calls. I don't care who, whatever else they want to do. But that's the main thing. Of course, if they have to pay, good. Pay the lawyer. I want him to get paid. He deserves it because he's a consumer advocate for us, you know. And he knows we don't have to withstand that, and he's trying to help us. Of course, I'm glad if he gets paid, because he may not get paid. It depends if there's no case, and he does all the work, and there's no settlement or nothing, and the case doesn't, you know, go through, well, he didn't get paid. He still stopped the calls. That's the main thing. I know most cases, if you're having problems, I think you want those calls to stop, right? So you can see if you can settle out your business what you have to do. You don't want that phone ringing. Like in my case, I'm under emotional distress, economic hardship, and all, you know. So you know, I covered pretty much everything I wanted to. I allude to a lot of things because I'm trying to make a point. And in case somebody's not, you know, viewed one of these videos, at least now I got you up to par with everything. Why I'm doing this. So I'll be putting some stuff in the description, and I'll go over a few more things. So I don't see any reason why you wouldn't contact this lawyer that I have, because he's very good. And I give him testimonials, and I endorse him all the time. Because I know he's good, and he can help you as well as a lot of other people. That's what he wants to do. So keep all this in mind. Like I say, if you want to view any of these videos, you can just punch my name in on YouTube. Put Frank Leeper, Leeper, videos. And all of them are going to come up. All these ones I've been doing, plus all the other videos I was doing before. I didn't just start doing this with Merrick Bank. I've been doing this for a while. You know, videos on YouTube, and then I share it to Twitter. That way I have it in two places. But now, all you know yourself, all this stuff that I put on YouTube, it stays on there for years. Because I see videos on there that it has the date, 6 years, 7 years. So even though I may settle up with Merrick Bank, you know, and finally have closure, but if I don't delete those videos, they're still on YouTube. And they're going to continue to advertise the lawyer I have and also badmouth Merrick Bank without me doing anything. And that's, you know, I told the lawyer, if he tells me that he wants me to stop, you know, the badmouthing of Merrick Bank is part of the settlement, I will do it if he tells me, you know. So that then I would probably delete, you know, the videos that I have on YouTube. Maybe, maybe not. It depends. If that's part of the settlement, if they don't want all that bad advertisement. In a sense, I'm helping them in a way, because when I start telling people about Merrick Bank, don't even know about Merrick Bank, that if you get an offer, I wouldn't take it, you know. Because if you can't pay, you know what can happen right now. We got the $1,200, like they said. Of course, they got the 7 on-time payments, plus we owe $1,200, and then I've been paying after that for months. So they made money on that account besides. So, you know, this late fee is another thing. $39 late fee? Keep it under 40, huh? So now instead of owing $1,200, it's up to $1,400. So I guess they're going to be able to write off more that way, because they're going to have to, because Marie passed away. That account is not uncollectible, really, in our situation now. Remember that. It's uncollectible, so that means the more money that's owed, the more they're going to take off their income and pay less taxes. Because that debt is not supposed to be sold in a bundle to debt collectors. I mean, they still might do it, because I think they're very unethical, this Merrick Bank. I wouldn't put it past them. I'm liable to get, years from now, I'm liable to get a call from a debt collector for that bill. I'm liable to, because my name is on it. But not, like I said, I'm an authorized user. I can't be held responsible for that debt. If they think so, I know so. I know the lawyer knows it also, because he knows the law. The letter of the law. So, again, I want to thank you for listening to this video, and I hope it was informative, and it can help somebody out there that might be getting these harassing phone calls, and you don't have to put up with it. Well, if you want to check out my other videos, like I said, you can look it up on YouTube, and I'll be posting this one on Twitter. Like I said, this is part 3 of the Invisible Man versus Merrick Bank and the robot. I did that because it was, you know, it was a good comparison, you know. So now this is the 3rd one, so I don't know if I'll do any more. It all depends, you know. If anything happens with the case, you know, so you'll know what happened, I'll post another video letting you know if there's a settlement of what happened, so that it'll encourage people out there to know that maybe by doing it, you might even get money out of it. And plus, you're stopping those calls. Okay, again, I want to thank everybody out there, and have a great day.